There we go. Hey babes, it's your girl Bree, spelled like the cheese, aka your cosmic bestie, and I'm back at it again. Today we're gonna pull from my tarot deck, Feel Your Feelings. I'm sorry, my oracle deck, Feel Your Feelings. I made this deck a while ago. Um, Actually, I made 5 decks that were oracle decks, but this one is one of my favorites. It helps break down emotions a little bit better because sometimes when we read tarot, we get a lot of information, but there's more depth and emotions behind it. And that's one of the reasons why I love doing oracle readings because it just breaks it down in a more emotionally in-depth way. But before I hop in, I wanted to shuffle and share. That's my go-to now is shuffling and sharing. This Pisces full moon just passed. As I'm recording this was the night before. And that full moon and eclipse is just bringing out so much, right? Emotional, for me, emotional depth, emotional pain, hurt, trauma, things that I haven't dealt with in a really long time or just never dealt with fully at the level that I needed to. And I'm finally like, oh, okay, I get it, right? Like, okay, I get it. I know I'm here. This is all making sense, so on and so forth. But I wanted to read from this deck today because if you're like me, a lot of different emotions came up for you and will probably still be coming up for you. This eclipse energy lasts until the 9th, lingering into the 10th. But by the time that this goes up, it'll be a few days after. And I think that whatever is within this deck that is going to come out today is going to help you really understand the emotions that you've been going through and maybe pull out some words that help you actually put the feeling together. Because I know for myself, I struggle with that. Like, I'll do something basic like, oh, I'm mad or I'm upset or I'm angry, I'm sad. But those are very like baseline emotions. There's more in depth emotions that are there. And that's what this deck is all about. Oh, okay. Getting a lot right out of the gate. All right. Let me lay these all out first. Okay, 8 cards came out. All right, let's hop into it. First card that came out, Restless. Your soul is craving movement. This energy is like, it's within your heart chakra, it's within your sacral. And it definitely feels a little like crown chakra too. It just feels like this whole area. You're just scattered. You're everywhere. You just feel like the Tasmanian devil where you're like going around. That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like on the inside is like, oh, you're just like, oh my God, like there's just so much that I need to get done, or there's so much that I have been doing and I feel like I haven't rested, or I am resting, maybe too much. I'm not putting enough work in. Like, whichever end of that era that you're on, that's what that restlessness is. Funny enough, I did say shattered. The next card was shattered. Picking up the pieces is still in progress. That's why you're running around the way that you are. That's why you feel what you feel, because it's still in progress. You're not fully whole, right? The circle is not fully complete yet. You're still dealing with some of this pain. You're still dealing with some of this anguish and hurt and trauma, but also like healing different parts of yourself, seeing different parts of yourself, understanding different parts of yourself. Because the further that you go in your journey, the more that you understand you. And that can be nerve wracking when you really are diving deeper into yourself. The next card we have is inspired. A spark of something new, flow with it. Something is going to come within your space, like a job offer. I keep hearing job offer. Something that you love, though, like something creative, something passionate, something that you really love doing, whether if it's like work or creative, something along those lines. An opportunity is going to come, or like an idea. Like I see like a light bulb over someone's head, like You're going to get an idea that inspires you, that sparks something new within you, so that you can use that energy to propel you forward, right? Because this restlessness and this shattered energy, this is the main focus right now. This is what's really coming forth. But Spirit is trying to like hone you back in, giving you that creative spark. Like Ace of Wands energy. Like they're trying to bring the spark into you so that you can push forward instead of holding on to that old energy. The next card is disconnected. Your soul is asking for reconnection. The best way I can describe this card of what it feels like is you reattaching to yourself. You feel disconnected because you're not being you. Not at 100%, not at 100% capacity. You change who you are around certain people still, or you hold your tongue, or you don't hold your boundaries. Like there's still people within your space that you shift of who you truly are for them. And Spirit is really just trying to reconnect you back with yourself so that you don't feel like you're lost, so that you don't feel disconnected. Because the one constant of connection that you should have is always with yourself. You should always be able to connect with yourself, understand yourself. Because if you can't, then how can somebody else, right? The next card we have here is passionate. Your fire is burning. Where will you direct it? That card definitely goes with that inspired, right? That spark that you have, the light to the flame. Where are you going to direct that? Is it going to turn into this big bomb that explodes? Or is it going to be this internal volcanic eruption? Where are you able to point your passions and do things that you truly love, that you're passionate about? Because there's things that you truly are passionate about, but you're not taking the inspired action to do so. And Spirit is trying to like get you to do that, and you keep like rejecting it. And again, that's back to like that disconnected card of like you feeling disconnected. That's you being disconnected with yourself. So much so that things that you are passionate about, that you know that you love, you're not doing them because you're worried about somebody else's thoughts or opinions. And they don't matter, right? Like your thoughts and opinions matter, especially when it comes to your own life. Anguish. The storm inside needs release. I'm circling back to the volcanic eruption, right? You don't want to explode, but you're on the brink of exploding. You know that you need to like sort out what's going within, and you have to release it some way. But it's like leaking out in little spots in your life. Like maybe you are catching attitudes with people at work, or maybe you're being a little short with your partner or a friend, or just something in general that is like sparking different things in you. And you're like, they're pissing me off. It's irritating me. And then it's like, boom, it's quick. It happens quickly. But the storm needs to be released. I keep seeing like pumpkins like being smashed with like bats because it's pumpkin season, okay? It's fall weather out where I am. And that is like the biggest thing. You have to release this rage some way, shape, or form. Go axe throwing, shatter plates, go to the dollar store, buy a glass plate, shatter it. You have to do something to take and release what is within you, because that energy, that restlessness, that shattered anguish, like all of that disconnection, that is what's running within you, right? That's what that Tasmanian devil tornado is. It's all of that pent up energy and aggression, pain, hurt, suffering, all of that stuff that's coming out right now. Yes, you can journal. Yes, you can cry, go for a car ride, whatever it is. Whatever it is, you need to do it to get it out because it's blocking you. The next card here, lonely. You are not alone in this feeling. I do these collective readings because I know that this message is more than just for me or just for one person. These are collective readings. And if this is reaching the collective, and you see all these other people commenting and liking and sharing, that's your reminder that they're also going through the exact same thing as you in some way, shape, or form. It might not be the exact same situation, but the emotions are still the same. And that's like a connector. That's a binder for us as people, the empathy, right? I might not be going through what you're going through, but I know what it feels like to feel like that. And this is just your reminder that you are not alone. The next card, rejected. The redirection is protection. You're being redirected to benefit you, not to hinder you. And there's a lot of this energy of like, but I know better. Like, I know that this is what I'm supposed to do. I know that this is the right path for me. But there's stuff that you haven't even realized, thought about, fathomed that could be within your orbit. That's why you're being pushed. That's why you're being redirected. You know, when you're in the car, I'm a maps girly. I'm an Apple Maps girly. Anytime I'm in the car and I go the wrong way or I miss a turn and it'll say like redirecting, I don't freak out. I don't get nervous. I don't go, oh my God, where am I going to go? How is it going to do it? I know that it's going to upload and it's going to give me a new direction. And I trust it and I follow it and I get to my destination. That's exactly what you need to be doing here. This redirection is, as it's buffering, you don't need to panic. You don't need that like SpongeBob with all the flames and they're running around in his head like freaking out. You don't need to panic. You just need to sit, follow the new path, and see where it takes you. Because at the end of the day, it's still getting you to where you want to be. It's just a redirection. The end goal is still the same, right? The location where you're trying to end up is inevitable. It's just the path of how you get there. But you're holding on to that path, like, deeply. Shameful. It's time to release what is weighing you down. Right after we talked about anguish, right? That releasing, that volcanic eruption. You got to let go of this shame. Whatever shame or guilt that you have for who you were, it's not who you are anymore. Okay? But it's not. And I know it's easy to fall into what I would call that a trap, if you will. It's easy to fall into that trap in your mind because the people in your life have made it so natural for you to have guilt and shame. But the fact of the matter is you've grown. You have put in the work. You are doing the work. You are moving forward. You do have dreams. You do have goals. Who you were and the choices that you made then versus the decisions that you're making now are two totally different areas of your life. A choice, you make a choice on something when you don't know the outcomes, right? I could go for a burger, I could go for pasta. But at the end of the day, let's say I choose a burger, but it made me sick. Next time, if I have that choice comes up again, I'm going to make the decision to go for the pasta, right? Because now I know, I don't know, the burger didn't sit well this time. All of the choices that you've made up until this point were just that. They're not decisions. Decisions are way more permanent because it comes from a place of clarity. Choices are made as basically flipping a coin. You don't know the outcome. But when you toss it, you say heads or tails, you got to go with it, right? Ooh, excited. Something new is brewing. Lean into it. I think you have some stuff that's in the works that you have been working on that is almost here. And people, like there's new people in your life that you're really excited. Healed. The scars remain, but you have risen. Okay, confirmation. You've definitely healed. I should say you're still healing. I don't think anyone's ever 100% healed. Because there's always work to be done, right? But you're definitely healing. And like it says, the scars remain, but you have risen. The shame, those are the scars. The shame and the guilt are the scars that we're talking about here. And though, yes, the scars are still there, they don't define you. They don't define who you are. It doesn't change how much you've worked on yourself, what you're doing, how you're doing it. All of this is just different. Okay. Confusion, the fog before clarity emerges. This is very important. Okay. I think you're going through this thought, this confusion, right? You're listening to this and you're like, yeah, I know I feel like this, but how do I move forward? How do I do this? How do I let it go for real? And I was just talking about this with our my group collective, the Stella Nova Collective. We were talking about how to fully let go. Like, how do we really release something? And one of the examples that I brought up was my own, like, personal one with my parents. There's stuff that my parents do that irritate the snot out of me every single day. And it feels like lately it's been sticking a lot more instead of just letting it roll off. And the more and more that I realize that I sit on it, I stew in it, I let it bother me, I go deeper, I can't get it out of my head, so on and so forth. When I just keep conducting in the same way, that's how that energy lingers. But now when somebody says something or somebody does something that irritates me, I'm like, ugh, annoying. But then once I'm like, all right, whatever. And I move forward, because it's not, half the stuff that I'm irritated about is something stupid, simple. It's not that in depth. It's not that crazy. It's not that deep. But it feels that deep because it triggers something else within me. It triggers that 14-year-old kid again. It triggers that 16-year-old kid again. Like, certain things that they say and do just trigger me. And wherever you're at, you're still in that getting triggered stage, which just because you heal does not mean that you'll never be triggered again. But it's how you respond to the triggers. That is the difference of truly letting something go. Are you actually responding in a different way? Are you doing something instead of, having a full-on meltdown because something happened and you're punching holes in walls, or you're freaking out, or you're breaking things, or whatever your thing is. Maybe you eat your feelings, right? That's what I do. I like to eat my feelings. Instead of doing something like that, you could sit in meditation. You could take a deep breath. You could go for a walk, right? Like, how are you changing? Because that's the real difference of how you truly let go, is how you respond to the trigger. And that confusion that you're feeling, you know how to now change to respond to that trigger, because you know it's triggering you. You know that it's bringing something deeper out in you. The confusion is truly just that, the fog before the clarity emerges. Hopefully this is clearing some of that fog for you of like, oh yeah, actually, when so-and-so does this, it does trigger this in me because of this. And now I know that I'm not going to have these conversations, or I'm not going to be around this person, or I'm going to set this boundary, or whatever, right? And then you move from there. The next card is content. No rush, no pressure, just being. You have to be content with who you are and where you are at. It's always a journey. There's always another mountain or another hill, right? But you have to be content of where you are and where you're going, because you're at this point where you get upset. Why am I not further? Why can't I do this? Why is this not working? So on and so forth, right? And you're taking the brunt force here. You're taking a lot of those hits. It's me, it's me, it's me. But it's not. It's your journey. But it's not all about you. It's not in the sense of like, oh, it's hindering you. It's just where you're at right now. And then you'll make another leap. And then you'll be in a steady spot. And then you make another leap. Like, that is the inevitable that's on your way. Next card is peaceful. A rare moment of stillness. Embrace this. Once you finally feel that content, where you're like, actually, I'm happy where I'm at. I'm happy with my place. I'm happy with my job. I'm happy with a partner. I'm happy with whoever. I'm happy with myself. And you're finally content and seeing of all the stuff that you truly have in front of you, that's when that peace is going to come in. Real peace. That's what you've been craving. That's what you've been desiring. It's just peace. That's why you want to change, right? That's why you want to become this higher version of yourself, is because you want to feel peaceful. You don't want to be in survival mode. You don't want to be triggered all the time. You don't want to be the same person who you were before. And you don't need to be. But becoming your highest self is not this just one big leap where everything changes overnight. It is small action steps, day by day, that lead you into the highest version of yourself. And the highest version of yourself is still you. It's just a different version of you. It's a different version of you that has boundaries that you actually respect. It's the version of you that actually goes for your dreams and goals. You don't care about the opinions of others. You strive for whatever your purpose is. You help others. You let others help you, right? You're just at a different place. And that's really when that peace comes in. Sorry, these are made by index cards that I got from the Dollar Tree, so there's really no type of stability on these. But if you can tell, I added some stability because I put like a bunch of different cards in there just to give it a little bit more structure so I could shuffle. Oh, okay. Oh. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 more cards. This is it. Okay, the first card that came out is Betrayed. Trust was broken, but you will rebuild. Whoever you feel this with, and it could be more than one person, that betrayal that you feel, I think the biggest betrayal that you feel is within yourself. You feel like when you look back on situations with certain people or certain things, you're like, why would I ever allow that? Why did I deal with that? Why would I take whatever somebody said to heart or so on and so forth, right? This betrayal, the rebuilding is going to have to start with you. It's so much easier when you actually rebuild from within than trying to rebuild with other people, because you're talking about different dynamics, different things that they've got going on. Are they being honest? Are they not? Is it coming from a genuine place? So on and so forth. But this betrayal energy, whoever broke your trust, and mainly it's you. There is other people that have broken your trust, betrayed you in other ways that did hurt deeply. But it's the way that you responded to those things that hurt you the most. This is the transition period. This is you rebuilding your foundation. I was talking about that in my membership group as well. The foundation has to be rebuilt. When you're talking about a tower moment, the whole tower is going to go up in flames and fall before you can actually rebuild. But if you're going to rebuild, you want to build a stronger structure. And how do you build a stronger structure if not with the foundation? And the foundation is within you. When you build that strength within of holding true to your boundaries, of really putting yourself first, having mutual relationships where there is give and take, not just giving or just taking from other people, right? When you really balance yourself out, that's when your foundation gets more and more solid. You can smell that bullshit from a mile away. You're like, I'm not going to mess with them. Like, nope. Nostalgic. The past is calling. Are you listening or are you lingering? Confirmation to the betrayal. This nostalgic card is very interesting because I find myself having a lot of conversations lately of stuff about my past. And it is making me a little nostalgic in some ways, but it also is bringing out a lot within me because a lot of my past was wrapped around guilt and shame and betrayal and just hurt. So bringing that back up has brought up a lot of that pain and hurt, but it's also bringing up this like nostalgia, how I was when I was a teenager, when I was in my 20s, and just the crazy, silly, goofy things that I would do or situations I was in. But the nostalgic, the part where it says, are you listening or are you lingering? What are you listening to? What is coming up for you when you do get into these nostalgic moments? Is it the feelings that you miss? Is it the people? Is it bringing out something else within you? The shame, the guilt, the pain? What is it really doing for you? Why do you really think that this is coming up? And it's okay if it does. It doesn't matter what age you are if you still are healing stuff from your past. no matter what stage you're in. You actually dealing with it is what matters, not how long ago it was or whatever. But the next card that came out was guilty. A heavy heart, but forgiveness is key. Whatever that past nostalgic feeling you're getting, you feel guilty. You feel that pain, you feel that hurt. You're like, why am I still dealing with this? Why is this still a problem? You don't have to feel guilty for being hurt, for somebody hurting you, betraying your trust, hurting you in some way, shape, or form, what they said, what they did. That isn't something you should feel guilty for. You having feelings and wanting to be treated accordingly is not something you should feel guilty for. If anything, you should feel joyful. Pure, unfiltered happiness. Soak it in, babe. Spirit is really trying to take you from guilt, shame, confusion, hurt, to content, peaceful, joyful, passionate, right? There's a lot of these emotions mixed in with one another, but I can tell you just what this feels like. Spirit is trying to balance you out. Spirit is trying to call you forward and be like, listen, I know you feel restless. I know you feel shattered. I know you feel guilty and shameful, but you have to feel these feelings for real. Fully heal them, let them go, so that you can move forward and not feel those emotions, but feel the passion, feel the joy, feel excited, right? That's what you want. But that will only come on the other side of dealing with what you are avoiding. And the best way to do it is nurturing. You are pouring love into something or someone. I'll tell you who. You. You need to pour love back into yourself. Love your time during this process in this period. Love yourself a little more. You're going deep into shadow work, deep into journaling, deep into whatever healing that you need to be doing to let these feelings go. Nurture yourself afterwards. You're going to smash like 10 pumpkins? Cool. Take a long shower. Do a hair mask. Do skincare. Do whatever, right? I'm over 30, so take an ibuprofen. Like, you have to do stuff that actually nurtures you. Hang out with friends. Go see a movie. Listen to your favorite playlist. You have to pour back into yourself because a lot of your old self is pouring out. And for this new self to be fully prepared, it needs that nurture. It needs that love. It needs to feel that, because that's how you build with that foundation, because each layer of that foundation is getting stronger and stronger, which means it is going to take more and more work to get to this other side, to really get to this deep healing space, to where you can come out on the other end feeling that joy, that peace, the excitement, the inspiration, the passion. You're closer than you think, though. This journey is not meant to tell you that you're doing something wrong. This journey, this moment, this video is to remind you of where you're at, but how far you've come and how close you are to being where you want to be. Because we're not talking about you started at the beginning of this journey, right? You're not at the beginning of your journey. You're right in the sweet spot where you've had a lot of healing, you've had a lot of work, you've done a lot of stuff, but now you're at this crossroads. And the crossroads that Spirit is asking you to pick a lane is being redirected, if you will, is, okay, are you going to go down this path to where you hide your feelings, you disconnect from yourself, you disassociate, so on and so forth, like you always have? Or are we going to do something different this time? We're going to stand up for ourselves. We're going to have our boundaries. We're going to have those difficult conversations. We're going to exit those people out of our lives. Whatever those hard choices are, it's time. Because you already know the outcome of what's happened before. So now this is your decision to do something different, to go down a different path. Because the choices that you've made leading up to this point were just choices. This is your decision of what's next for you and what's next in your life. And I know you got this. You got this. You have to believe in yourself. But as I'm wrapping this up, I would love to offer, if you're in this space, if you're in this transition period where you're like, yes, I am choosing this different road now. I'm redirecting myself into a different way. But you know you need more community and support. Definitely come check out the Stella Collective. Okay, in that collective, we do 2 live calls every single month. So we do it right around the full moon and the new moon, where we talk about the stuff that we're releasing, what we're calling in. I talk about the moon and facts and all these other fun things. But also, it's a community space. We talk about spiritual work, we talk about deity work, we talk about our goals, but we also are like silly fun, whatever. We're gonna watch a Twilight movie marathon this weekend, okay? Like, we do have fun. It is a space where you can be seen and heard, but also supported. So if that's what you're looking for, definitely check that out, the Stella Nova Collective. But if that's just not where you're at, I totally get it. If you wanted something more in depth, specifically with this card deck, check out my oracle readings, or you can get a tarot reading, or my cosmic intuitive readings, where I pick intuitively what tarot and oracle deck you need for your full-fledged message. But as you know, I always do my free readings on here, on YouTube, and on TikTok. I do daily ones on TikTok, and then once a week here on YouTube. But if you want to check me out on any of my platforms, it is Stella Nova 424. And I just want you to know I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for coming this far, and I'm even more proud of you for making the decision to keep moving forward. Because it's a hard fucking thing to do. You got this, babe. Love you. Bye.